In this video, I will talk about exactly how I plan my whole homeschool year in less than 2 hours. This includes yearly planning, term planning, weekly, and daily planning. And by the end of this video, you will have the tools to plan your own homeschool year so you can reach the goals that you have set for each of your children, be consistent, and enjoy homeschooling with your family. Let's get into it. Hi there, my name is Iman, and on this channel, I help Muslim moms homeschool with confidence and joy while having simple routines and systems to stay on top of their home management, and doing all this without sacrificing your own self-care. And so when I started homeschooling 3 years ago, I never planned for my homeschool year. I just started, tried different things, and stuck to what worked. But back then, I just had a preschooler and a baby. And so last year was the first year I actually start planning for my whole homeschool year, when I had a first grader and a preschooler. And that really changed the game for me. I realized when you plan for your whole homeschool year, it gives you that flexible structure that you can take and move around based on what's going on that month or that week in your life. So the planning actually helped give me the flexibility to do what we want in our homeschool and to have fun and to have joy in it. At the same time, planning for my year gives me that structure to stay on the path to reach those goals that I have for each of my kids. Planning for the year also kept me consistent, and I knew exactly when I was doing school and when it was our off days. I also build in many breaks because I do homeschool year round, and having many breaks throughout the homeschool year really helped keep up my energy and help give me the flexibility to take time off when I really needed a break. The other thing planning for my whole homeschool year allowed me to do is include more fun in our homeschool. I was able to plan ahead what skills I wanted my kids to learn so I can put them in certain classes, what activities and what sports I wanted to put them in. And that, just having a plan, really helped me accomplish those goals that I wanted for my kids. I believe planning for your homeschool year, planning for your home, planning for your homeschool day really gives you the flexibility to do more because you have goals, you have plan, and when you have a goal and you have plans, you're more likely to accomplish it. Okay, so before we get into the actual planning and I show you step by step how I do it, we need to go through some important questions that you have to answer for yourself depending on what kind of homeschool you want to have. The first question I have for you is, how long do you want to homeschool when it comes to the length of time throughout the year? Do you either want to homeschool year around, or do you want to homeschool having summers off, which is the regular school schedule? So the difference between these two types of homeschooling years is the year-around homeschooling year allows you to homeschool year-around and take many breaks throughout the year because you are homeschooling throughout the year. With year-round homeschooling, you can take the breaks whenever you want. Whenever it fits your family, whenever it fits your plans and your goals for your family, you can take these breaks to enjoy with your family. With year-round homeschooling, you can take advantage of traveling in the low season because most kids are in school. You can do lots of activities with your family during the low seasons that are cheaper. And I just find year-round homeschooling much more flexible and gives you the ability to plan a whole homeschool year that fits with your family and your values. And so, for example, I do year-round homeschooling because I take my longest breaks on Ramadan and Eid, of course, and Dhul Hijjah and Eid. The other calendar year that you have is summers off. And this is exactly what the public school system does. And so you would be homeschooling most of the year, probably takes a couple of weeks off in December, a week off in the spring, and then 2 months off in the summer. So now before you plan, you need to choose what kind of homeschool year that you want to have for your family. Do you want to homeschool year round, or do you want to homeschool with the summers off? And this is very important to decide before we start planning for our homeschool year, because once we go into the calendar and you choose the days you want to do school and what days you want to be off, you need to know what kind of homeschool year you're going to have. And now the other question that you need to answer before you start planning is, which school calendar will you follow? Meaning, how many weeks are you going to be doing school and how many weeks do you want to be off for school? You should know what type of school calendar you're going to follow. Are you going to be doing 6 weeks on, 1 week off, which is what I do, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 12 weeks on, 5 weeks off? Do you want to do 4-day school weeks? You just have to figure out which school calendar works well for you and your family. And so to learn more about the different types of school calendar, so you can make the best decision for yourself and for your family. I'm gonna link this video, which is a video done by another homeschool mom. Her name is Erin, and she explained the different school calendars so well. So after you watch this video, make sure you check out her video, and which I'll link down below, to understand the different types of school calendars, and just choose one. Okay, the next question that I want you to answer is, what will you use to plan? So you can use a regular notebook, or you can get a homeschool planner to plan. So you can use either. What you're gonna learn in this video, you can use in both types of books. I just recommend choosing one and sticking with it for that homeschool year. Now that we covered the basic questions that you need to answer before you start planning, let's get into the 5 steps that you need to do to plan for your whole homeschool year. These are the 5 steps that I use every year to plan for my own homeschool. Number 1, vision. Number 2, creating goals for each of your children for that homeschool year. Number 3, choosing and finalizing on what type of school calendar you're gonna use, and taking a calendar and choosing when you're gonna do school and when are your off days. Number 4, writing down each core subject for each of your children and the interests or skills they wanna pursue that school year. And number 5, brainstorming all the family subjects that you wanna do with all your kids. And this is also known as morning basket in my homeschool. I'm gonna go through each step and explain to you further how it works and what it is. Number 1 is your vision. I really recommend writing down your vision every year in your homeschool planner or notebook. Even if this is not your first year homeschooling, I really advise you to rewrite your vision so you can review it, reflect on it, and see if you want to add anything else to it. So this vision can be the vision for your kids and your family and the type of goals you want to reach with them. Also the vision of what kind of homeschool you want to create, the vision of what kind of morals and values you want to instill in your kids so they can become healthy, thriving adults that give back to their families and communities. So your vision is the reason why you are homeschooling. Why are you choosing this method of education for your kids? Why do you want to do it? What's pushing you to do it? You need to write this down. Every thought, feeling, ideas, goals that you have for your kids, for your families, write it in your vision. And I really advise you to rewrite your vision and to reflect on it if you already have a previous vision that you're writing for this new school year, because sometimes your vision changes, sometimes you want to add to it. And the other thing is you need to have a target. You need to have something that you're working towards, something that you are homeschooling for. And so when you see your vision and you write your vision again year after year, it will really help rejuvenate you and keep you pushing on those hard days. The second step is creating goals for each of your children that you want to achieve that homeschool year. And so this is very important to think about the beginning of the homeschool year, because this will predict the path that you would take and decisions that you make throughout your whole homeschool year. When you know the goals for each of your kids, you will know what to focus on and what you cannot drop, and what you can just drop and not focus on, because you have specific goals for each of your children. Having goals is like a compass, and it will keep you focused, and whatever decision you make throughout the year should always come back to how it will benefit the goals that you have for each of your kids. So if you want to learn how to better manage your time so you can better balance homeschooling and managing your home, make sure to grab my free template where I teach you all about time blocking. And specifically what I use is called Baraka time blocking, which is time blocking surrounding and prioritizing your prayers first. So if you're interested in learning all about my type of time blocking, check out the free template down below in the description. The third step is choosing what type of school calendar you're gonna follow and choosing when your homeschool days are and when your breaks are. So once you choose the type of school calendar that you wanna do, you have to print out an actual calendar, and based on the type of school calendar that you chose, if you're gonna have 6 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, you're gonna go through and you're gonna circle or highlight your breaks. This is not set in stone, it's still very flexible, and you can change around your breaks, but you should have an idea when your breaks are throughout the whole homeschool year. The fourth step that I write in my planner is the core subjects for each of my children and what kind of skills or interests they want to pursue that homeschool year. So I like to write down the core subjects for each of my kids and what they're going to focus on for that school year. And these subjects are also their skill subjects or their individual subjects. The other thing I like to write down in this step is what kind of skills and interests my child wants to pursue. And this is actually when I sit down and I talk to my child and ask them, what do they want to learn this year? What are they interested in? And I really recommend you also sitting down and talking to your children about this, because you also want your child to love homeschooling, to love learning. And to do that, it's very important to incorporate what they want to learn and what they love learning. And so focusing on skills and interests as well with academics builds a well-rounded child. And so in this step, I talk with my child and I figure out what he wants to pursue this year, and I write it in my planner at this step. This also gives me something to look back to when I am planning for each term to figure out which classes and programs I want to put them in for them to learn that skill. And step number 5 is brainstorming all the family subjects you want to do this year with your family. And so in my homeschool, we have 2 different types of subjects. We have skill subjects, which are individual subjects, core subjects that each of my kids do individually, and they're all on different levels. And then I have content subjects, which are family subjects that I bring all my kids together and we all learn together, and they're all different ages. And so creating a homeschool environment like that helps you cover and teach many different subjects that you want to do without you burning out. And so in this step is when I brainstorm all the family subjects I want to do with my kids. So in my family subjects, we tend to do card games, Sira studying, science, geography, dua memorization, Islamic study. And so there are so many subjects I personally want to do with my kids for that school year. And so in this step, I write down all the subjects I want to cover. And then I also write down the books and the resources I'm going to use to cover each subject. So this is more like a brain dump of all the subjects that you want to cover in your family subject time. And this is important because when you are planning for your term, you can refer back to your family subject and choose 1 or 2 subjects you're going to focus for that term. So now that was my 5 steps that I used to plan for my whole homeschool year. Now we are going to go into the next step of planning, which is term planning. And so term planning depends on what type of school calendar that you have chosen. And so for me, I homeschool 6 weeks on and 1 week off. And that is 1 term for me. That 7 weeks is 1 term. So I have about 6 terms throughout my whole homeschool year, and that's how I plan my term. And so with every term, I write down the dates that it starts and what date it ends. And I write down my core subjects for each of my kids. And then I write down the family subject I want to focus on for that 6-week term. And this is when I go back to the family subjects that I brainstorm the beginning of my year, and I choose 1 to 2 family subjects that I want to focus on in that term. And so I find planning in terms throughout my whole homeschool year helps me focus and spend time on 1 to 2 specific subjects I want all my kids to learn together. It gives me enough time to properly cover that book or curriculum because I am focused on that subject for that 6 weeks. And so once I plan for my term, I know when it starts, I know what core subjects my kids are focusing on and any interest that we are pursuing, and I've chosen 1 to 2 family subjects that we are gonna do. Then I do my weekly and my daily planning. And so my weekly and daily planning is pretty simple because I like to keep it pretty simple around here. So for weekly planning, each of my kids have their own homeschool schedule, things that they have to do for that whole week. And so this is my 2nd graders homeschool schedule for the new homeschool year. And so I write down all the things and all the subjects that I expect him to do from Monday to Friday. Usually Fridays are relaxed day. And so once I know what subject he's gonna do and he knows, then I write in my planner every day what subject my child is gonna do. And as we do it that day, I just cross it off. If you have liked this video, then you will love my next video, which I talk about different time management hacks that really gives me more time in my homeschool days. If you're interested in that, check out this video right here.